Hi guys, JB and Minot here. I want to say hello to all my friends on OneUp.com and YouTube.com. Okay, these are my likes and dislikes for the month of July. I'm going to try and make it quick. I've gotten more dislikes for July than I do likes, so I'll go ahead and get started. So stupid. He's one of these characters, you tell him not to do something in a movie, and that is the very thing that he will do in the movie. So, a lot of critics liked Horrible Bosses. I hated Horrible Bosses. Perhaps if they had Colin Farrell and Jennifer Aniston, more of a focus on their characters, it would have been a lot funnier. But they were hardly in the movie, so I really didn't like the movie. I thought I was just irritated, and I just want to punch out the new guy, whatever he was. So, okay, now for July's first like, and that is Transformers: Dark of the Moon. I like the Transformers movie. I like to be able to shut off my brain and go into a movie theater and just watch the action unfold. This is definitely the darker of the three movies. Darker in tone. I mean, Optimus Prime is really, really scary. This is probably his scariest I've ever seen Optimus Prime. But it's no masterpiece. There are a few good set pieces in there, like the Battle for Chicago. That's a long battle. It's a big epic thing, and Leonard Nimoy was pretty cool in it. But it wasn't a bad movie. It was a lot better than number 2. But there's a lot of Michael Bay stuff in here too. Like, the movie literally starts off in Sam Witwicky's new girlfriend, and the first frame of the movie, the camera is literally almost up her butt for no reason. I mean, it's just, it pulls back, and she's played by some model, I don't know, some bubblehead. You know, I never thought I'd say this, but I thought Megan Fox was actually the better actress. But I can't stand Megan Fox. I'm glad, you know, I wish they'd killed her off in the movie. But she, you know, the new girl is pretty, but she's not a good actress. But the movie, like I said, is no masterpiece, but it's a great blast to play if you'd like to turn off your brain and watch a lot of action. I'd like to see him go in a new direction, maybe have another sequel, but have a good story arc, maybe with better writers, and take away all those dumb flourishes that Michael Bay tends to put in there, and go for it. I tend to like most Michael Bay movies for what they are, but, you know, so, you know, go see it at a matinee if you get the chance. It's a good movie, you know, kill a good 3 hours. It is a long movie, and go from there. Okay, my next dislike is, there's this commentator on MSNBC and NBC, and he was guesting on the Today Show. His name is Donny Deutsch, and he's a real douchebag. He wears these, like, sports suits. He's got this fake tan, and he purposely curls his hair to make it look like bedhead. And he looks like, what's that guy, Simon on The Mentalist. Anyway, he went on to the Today Show, and he and the host pretty much trashed people who play video games, okay? He basically said that anybody over 30 who plays video games is weird. As though playing a video game was any weirder than some idiot sitting around watching a bunch of other idiots throw around a ball. And, you know, video games have been out for 50 years, about 50 years. They came into the mainstream and got well known by general audiences for about 35 years. I grew up on video games. My first video game system, I was about 6 or 7. So I grew up on video games. And let me tell you something. They've evolved quite a bit since 1978. And unlike football, basketball, and baseball, except the players have gotten a lot neater. But anyway, you know, I don't know why people feel the need to disparage video games. It's no worse than playing poker all the time, or any other hobby that these so-called, you know, adults play. But anyhow, that's up with that. His name's Donny Deutsch. He's a douchebag as far as I'm concerned. So, okay, my next like is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I didn't like Part 1. I thought it dragged on. I thought it was boring. and I liked all the Harry Potter books except for the last one. It took me actually 6 months to get the energy to read the last one. I thought it was dry as a bone. But it was a good ending to the series. I wouldn't mind. I'd like to see J.K. Rowling's next series. See what happens. I don't know what she's going to do next. Maybe she's just going to coast on Harry Potter for the rest of her life. Who knows? But she made an excellent series of books there. They're classics. They're going to go on being classics for a long, long time. And they're very well written. But I'm going to talk about the movie. The movie was really good. A lot of good action. It moved. It didn't drag at all. I didn't feel it drag at all. It was touching. I would have liked to see more interaction with some of the characters, some of the minor characters. But and I thought Nigel Longbottom was featured a little bit too much. But other than that, it was an excellent ending to the Harry Potter series. Not the best Harry Potter movie. That would go to Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, or Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I haven't decided which, but they're two of my favorite Harry Potter movies. Okay, my next dislike: inviting celebrities to the military ball. Now, as you might have heard, Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake have been invited to either the Marine Ball or the military ball. I can't remember which. And you know, I've got nothing against Justin Timberlake. I've got nothing against Mila Kunis. Both of them are excellent reporters. They deserve every stardom, every bit of attention they get. They deserve their celebrity. They deserve their stardom. They are hardworking people, and they are very talented. I've got nothing against those two. My problem is that for every great celebrity out there, there are 1,000 fake-ass celebrities out there, like Kim Kardashian, or Paris Hilton, or the herpes factory called Jersey Shore. Because you know some idiot out there's going, I'm going to invite Snooki. Okay, no. It's called a military ball, not a pig roast, not a hoedown, or coupon night at the Moonlight Bunny Ranch. It's a military ball. It's a formal ball to recognize our brothers and sisters in uniform. Okay, if you invite celebrities there all the time, all of a sudden it's going to become an entertainment thing. It's going to be a celebrity thing, and it's going to take away the spotlight from the military. Plus, you're going to have trash like Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, and Jersey Shore or whatever show up. So we don't, you know, if I was a celebrity, I would do the classy thing like Scarlett Johansson did when she was invited. She had a conflict of interest with her schedule, which is understandable. So she sent a bottle of champagne, and she sent a video saluting our men and women in uniform, which is classy. And Scarlett Johansson deserves every bit of celebrity she has. Okay, now for my next like, and that is Captain America: The First Avenger. It was a charming movie. The storyline, the origin was great. It had a good twist in the origin. It was great how they satirized a little bit of the way they used propaganda in the wartime. And I thought it was a great movie. I thought Chris Evans, of course, was a natural. He was just outstanding, as I knew he would be, because I like Chris Evans. He's pretty cool. And I thought it was the best superhero movie since Iron Man. And I didn't really care for Iron Man 2, and I hope they get a good director for Iron Man 3. But anyway, stick around for the credits, because at the end of the credits, they've got a great preview of another movie coming up, and it's looking good from what I've seen so far. But they really haven't shown enough for me to really judge. But great summer movie, great popcorn movie. Chris Evans deserves to be a star. He was the best thing in the Fantastic Four. And if they were to remake the Fantastic Four, I'd still want him to play the Human Torch again. Okay. My next is a dislike. The media making this huge deal about Michelle Bachmann's migraines, as if she's the only American in the world, or in the country, to get migraines. Do you know how many people get migraines? Millions. It's quite a common problem, and it's not a crippling disease like Addison's disease, which Kennedy had. And it's not an unsafe habit like smoking, like President Obama used to have. Okay, these guys, they only make a big deal about it because it's Michelle Bachmann. Okay, they don't care about her health. They just don't like her, and they're using this as an excuse. Just like whenever a Republican gets in there, another Republican, if he's old, John McCain, they try to make a big deal about his skin problems and his old age, knowing darn good and well it had nothing to do with his or her ability to lead, and they darn well know it. They just don't like her because of her politics, plain and simple. They're hypocrites. Okay, now for another like, and that is Pac-Man and Galaga Dimensions for the 3DS. Not the greatest game in the world. I don't think it's worth 40 bucks. I think it's worth 29 at most. They've got 3 Galaga games, and they've got 3 Pac-Man games, and one of them is the Pac-Man Championship Edition. And there's a Pac-Man, there's Pac-Man Tilt, which you use the gyroscope in your DS to move Pac-Man across a couple of some platforms, and it's pretty interesting. And they got the old Pac-Man. They've got a couple of Galaga games in there too. One of them being a rail shooter, a 3D rail shooter. You don't really need a 3D, but it's fun. All 3 games are pretty good. You got the original Galaga, which I mentioned before is probably my favorite video game of all time. But anyway, that's the one game that was released in July. And that's not why I picked it for one of my likes. It's just, it's a good game, and we'll go from there. Speaking of the 3DS, my next dislike is the bad fortunes that are coming to the 3DS. As you might have heard, within a month they're going to lower the price of the 3DS from $249 to $169. That's 80 bucks, and it's been out for less than 6 months. That's bad. For Nintendo to lower the price of anything that quickly is that bad. They've still got GameCube games that are probably 50 bucks. Okay, so you know something's rotten in the state of Denmark with the 3DS. And you know what? I like the 3DS. I hope it succeeds. It's a beautiful system. It's built solidly. The specs for the graphics are excellent. It could have done without the 3D, you know. The 3D is a gimmick. Their problem is it was too expensive, and they've got games that aren't even worth near 39 bucks coming out. There's no niche games coming out. You know, they took forever for Zelda to come out. They got no good first party games or nothing like that. And a lot of the games that they promised, that they showed off at E3, aren't even coming out till 2012, such as Metal Gear Solid 3D. Metal Gear Solid 3D was the game they used to advertise the 3DS at the E3 to show it off. And it turns out the game ain't even made yet. And it's not even going to be released till 2012. So that tells you there's something wrong there. I don't know whose fault it is, but I'm pissed off about it because I like the DS. You've all seen my DS collection, and it pisses me off that this thing could fail. Anyway, I hope their fortunes come back, and I hope they pull their heads out of their butts. Okay, now for another like. My last like of the day is a movie called Crazy Stupid Love. Now, I like a good romantic comedy, and I'm man enough to admit it. I love a good romantic comedy, not the cliche-ridden crap that's been released lately, usually starring Katherine Heigl or Sandra Bullock, although I like Sandra Bullock. Crazy Stupid Love is about this guy played by Steve Carell, who is basically dumped by his wife of 25 years, played by Julianne Moore. And he goes to this bar night after night after night, getting drunk and talking about his fortunes, how his wife's cheating on him, blah, blah, blah. Well, Ryan Gosling plays this pretty cool lady killer. I mean, he's just smooth and he's funny. He's hilarious. He's great in it. This is probably my favorite Ryan Gosling role. He's just excellent. And he hears this sad sack going off and all, so he decides, you know what? I'm going to help this guy become a lady killer, just like me. So he does. And he helps him become a ladies' man. In the meantime, Ryan Gosling's character, who was mostly into one-night stands, all of a sudden falls in love with this lawyer, played by Emma Stone, who is, next to Anna Faris, is probably the most gorgeous actress in Hollywood right now. But he falls in love with her. And now he's seeking Steve Carell's help in how to behave around her and whatnot. And there is a really big twist toward the end of the movie that's just excellent. But the movie is funny, it's touching, it's poignant. There's a subplot involving Julianne Moore and Steve Carell's son, who has a huge crush on their 17-year-old, his 17-year-old babysitter, who, by the way, has a crush on Steve Carell's character. And misunderstandings ensue, and it's a great movie, one of the best movies of the year. Crazy, Stupid Love. In fact, I think Ryan Gosling is so good in this movie, I think he deserves a nomination for Best Supporting Actor. And maybe Steve Carell for Best Actor. Okay. It's an excellent movie. It's a great date movie. And it's a great movie overall. Now for my next dislike is Amy Winehouse dying. You know, she was a great talent, okay? And I'm sad that she didn't get healthy, because she was great. If it weren't for her, there wouldn't be no Duffy, there wouldn't be no Adele. She was just a pioneer of that retro British soul sound. And you know, she died tragically. She's part of the 27 Club, and I don't know how she died. I guess her parents said she died from alcohol withdrawal. Maybe she was trying to get healthy. I don't know, but it's so sad. So sad, because she was so talented. Anyway, on to my next dislike, and that's going to be my last dislike. In fact, I got one more like after this that's connected to this dislike. This dislike is Cowboys and Aliens. I saw this movie. I normally like Jon Favreau movies. I love the Iron Man movies, the first one anyway. But this is his worst movie since Made, and I hated Made. And anyway, all know the plot of Cowboys and Aliens. It should have been called Cowboys and Indians and Aliens as well. But it would have been a good idea. But it had so many cliches, and I know what the problem is. Spielberg had too much input into the movie, because it had every cliche that was in the Spielberg movies. Had the cute little kid, had the stupid dog, and it was just it had too many cliches. It had one character in there who knew exactly what was going on, but wouldn't tell anybody. Okay? Now, that would have helped them to get rid of the aliens. But, you know, you got the old-timer who's mean and evil at the beginning of the movie, but he softens up toward the end. And, of course, he's racist against Indians at the start, but then toward the end, he becomes more respectful of them and all this and blah, blah, blah. Just too many cliches. And they become, when you have too many cliches in a movie, it becomes predictable. Some of the action is really good, but to me, and it just didn't click for me. And Daniel Craig, I liked him in the James Bond movies, but for the most part, he's got the personality of a brick. Okay, I don't find him charming. I don't find him. He might be cool, I guess, but you know, Clint Eastwood was cool. Harrison Ford was really good as the old man, but any old veteran actor could have played him. You know, Olivia Wilde was very pretty. This is the prettiest I've ever seen her, but she didn't have much to do. The most interesting character, one of the most interesting, was played by Walter Goggins, who comes later on in the film, but he was real good. Clancy Brown was real good. So I really didn't like the movie. However, for my last good, I know I had one last like, but this is going to be my last like, and it's going to be end of the video. Cowboys and Aliens getting beaten by the Smurfs, and I hate the Smurfs, okay, but if a bad movie like this is considered a bomb, maybe they'll stop making bad, stupid movies like this. Okay? And I hope Jon Favreau's next movie is a lot better, because normally I like Jon Favreau. Okay, those are my likes and dislikes for the month of July. I hope you enjoy them. For some of you who agree or disagree, please tell me so. If you disagree, please tell me why. I'd love to get a good argument onto my comments, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. In the meantime, you guys have a good weekend, and God bless you. Bye-bye.